Hello everyone, and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces Talks Music. This is Michael Moorcock week over on our main channel, Liminal Spaces, and my brother Jason came up with the brilliant idea of taking that theme here to the Talks Music channel and talking about Hawkwind. And of course, Michael Moorcock was good friends with Hawkwind and would even perform with them live quite often, and wrote a lot of their lyrics and poetic pieces for the band, although that's not what he called them. And their album, Warrior on the Edge of Time, I think the lyrics were written by Moorcock and is based on a lot of his work. So I had to pick kind of the Hawkwind album that I wanted to talk about. And this was very hard for me because my favorite Hawkwind era is like 70, probably just the first five years are honestly incredible. And in the Hall of the Mountain Grill, Warrior on the Edge of Time, and Space Ritual are my three favorites, and I was having a hard time deciding which one to talk about, and I landed on the Space Ritual, which to me is the recording that encompasses everything that Hawkwind was trying to do the most. And it's absolutely incredible. So that is the album that we are going to talk about today. This was a live release that was recorded during the tour for their Do Re Mi Fa Si La Ti Do album, which was their third record. And the core of the show is made up of songs off that album. Not every song on that album is performed, but almost all of them are. And then it had a couple of new songs, and we'll talk about those as we go through the track listing. And then only one song from the first two albums. The first album, none of the songs were included. And then Master of the Universe from the first record was included in the Space Ritual. I do like the album that they were touring for this show, but I prefer the show a lot more. The mixing on that album is kind of weird. It doesn't have any of the aggression that I really feel from this live recording. But also, I think that once the music was written and recorded for that album and they took it on tour, they started playing with it, and that's when it really, I think, took the form that was it at its best. So Barney Bubbles and Robert Calvert, and Robert Calvert was the person that would read the poetic interludes. He'd write a large chunk of them. Moorcock wrote some of them, and he would perform them. Moorcock only performed with Hawkwind when he had time, so Robert Calvert did it mostly, and of course he became the singer for the band in the late 70s. Anyway, Robert Calvert and Barney Bubbles decided that they wanted this to be a concept show. And I know that the 70s were huge for concept albums, and I love the idea of a concept album. A concept show, I think, does occur quite a bit. The ones that I can think of, I mean, if we take the idea of concept albums out, of course concept albums will have concept shows, but taking material from different albums in a tour and creating a concept show, I think, is a rare thing. And the two examples I can think of is Pink Floyd in '69 did a concept called The Man and the Journey, and they made some new songs, and they took a bunch of their old songs and created this concept show, and it had a program when you walked in that gave you the concept. And the other one I can think of is this one. And this one had a program that when you opened it, it was a short story written by Calvert, I believe, that talked about that Hawkwind are going through space and they're in these sleep pods. And this is the story of them traveling through space. He wanted it to be a full audio-visual experience. They had Stacy dancing, and she was this very tall, beautiful woman that would dance across the stage, usually end up in the nude dancing. Liquid Lem did all the lighting for these shows. Overall, it was a very well thought out experience that would have been amazing to see. The closest I ever came to seeing this was Nick Turner's Hawkwind tour. Yeah, I think he has to say ex-Hawkwind. Did a space ritual tour across the United States and came to New Mexico, and I saw him there, and it was absolutely incredible. It was really enjoyable to see that show. So yeah, it was an entire experience going to one of these shows, and I think that's the real beauty of this record, and in my opinion, the way that you should start a Hawkwind experience. So of course this was released as a double LP, and let's jump into the track by track. We'll start with Earth Calling, which to me was always just kind of an intro to the what I consider the first song, which is Born to Go. This is it looks like Earth Calling was written by Calvert. There's no lyrics, and then it goes into Born to Go. Born to Go is one of the new songs. In fact, I don't think Born to Go ever got a studio release. It was only performed live, as far as I can tell. This is, in my opinion, one of the greatest Hawkwind songs. It's incredible. The rhythm section of Hawkwind had been changed for the new album, the third album that they had just released. And it was Lemmy and... I'm sorry, I can't remember the drummer's name. But anyway, this new rhythm section changed the way the band sounded, and Born to Go really demonstrates that. When I first played this for my brother Jason, his initial response was, wow, I can hear the Joy Division in this, which was such an odd statement for me. And I talked with him about it recently, and he said that he listened to... The album that he listened to the most by the Joy Division was strangely an album called Warsaw. And I don't know if they called it Warsaw or if that's what the bootleggers called it. But this was an album that they had recorded in a studio that didn't get a proper release. An early kind of attempt at them to record an album. And Jason says if you listen to the rhythm section on that... you will hear the Hawkwind influence, which I think is incredible. And it is true that the bassist for Joy Division has a tendency to play the bass guitar as if it was a guitar, which is exactly what Lemmy does on this as well. Lemmy is quoted saying, having me in the band for Hawkwind, it was like having a really low guitarist, not a bassist. And that is absolutely true. And this song just goes, and it's called Born to Go, and that makes perfect sense. Great jam. This segues into, and this whole concert is one continuous piece. It's everything segues into everything else. They never stop performing. Down Through the Night, which was on that third album, it's a slower piece. I think it's even more acoustic on the album, but it's fully electric on the band here. But it gives this kind of different direction, whereas Born to Go is this forward momentum, kind of ass-kicking rock song. Down Through the Night has a tendency to be a little bit more thoughtful and really a good piece to connect to Born to Go. And then this is followed by The Awakening, which is also written by Calvert. And this is an interlude, a narrative interlude that talks about people, the capsules, these spacefarers, the group Hawkwind traveling through space, awake and come out of their capsules, which leads into Lord of Light. This is based off of the Roger Zelazny novel Lord of Light. It's not the first time they would write a song based on Zelazny's work. Later they did, I'm Damnation, I think it's called. But anyway, Lord of the Light, I'm actually reading now, and is going to be featured on Liminal Spaces, the main channel, in a week or so. Really incredible, heavy, moving rock song, like a lot of these are. And I'm going to skip through a bunch of these. Hawkwind, out of all the space rock bands, I feel like Hawkwind deserves the title the most. I think they are the most space rock band. Pink Floyd, I think, invented it with Syd Barrett in 66, 67, well, 67 we'll say, singing Astronomy Domine. I know Roger, and we only know this because of the early years box set, wrote Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun in 67. Pink Floyd started this space rock concept, I feel, but pushed it away pretty quickly. Hawkwind never pushed it away. I feel like they were always writing about space and fantasy and science fiction, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about them. If Pink Floyd is first in space, as they love to say, I think Hawkwind is most in space. They really stayed there, and it's absolutely wonderful stuff. Next, we get Black Corridor. This is the interlude that was written by Michael Moorcock. And the cool thing about this spoken word piece is that it looks at space as an uncaring, that you can't anthropomorphize space in any way. It is just coldness. And I think that the lyrics, I don't know if Michael Moorcock wrote the lyrics to this next one. No, they did not. It's Brock. But the next track, Space is Deep, continues on this concept, but through a song instead of a spoken word piece. Really wonderful piece. And then we have Electronic Number 1. And of course, Dick Mick was the, I don't know if it's synth. I don't know what the name of the instrument that he used, but he makes all the weird space noises, the synth sounding space noises. He's credited as writing this one. And that's the end of side 2. Side 3, we get Orgon Accumulator, which is the poppiest, I think, on this album. It's also kind of my least favorite, which is strange because it's a lot of people's favorite. A lot of people love it. It's witty, it's humorous, it's poppy, and that's not really exactly what I look for with Hawkwind. I like it when they take themselves very seriously. And I don't think they're not taking themselves seriously in their song, but there is definitely a kind of a tongue-in-cheek silliness to this tune. For me, it's not my favorite part of the record. However, Upside Down, which is both Orgon Accumulator and Upside Down are new tunes to the Space Ritual, songs that were written specifically on this tour. Upside Down is incredible. It's short, it rocks, and it sounds like Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd if it rocked a lot harder. It's really it's got an incredibly melody line. It feels like it jumps the way that the riff goes. It's really an incredible tune. I absolutely love it. 10 Seconds of Forever is a Calvert spoken word piece, one that I really enjoy. It just goes over the memories this person has in the first 10 seconds of Forever. Really wild stuff. And then that is followed by Brainstorm, which is a Nick Turner original. Most of the songs have been Dave Brock. This is the first Nick Turner. Yeah, Brainstorm is the opening of their third album, the opening track, and it, in my opinion, is kind of a spiritual twin to Born to Go. This thing rocks. It's heavy, and the riff is incredible. This song was shortened to fit on this record, but when you buy the newer CDs, you can get the longer version. And so I have the 13-minute version. It looks like they cut it down to 9:20 for the album. Really incredible song. This is followed by Side 4, which is one of the rockinest sides. I mean, they really built this up through the concert to where they put some really heavy rock at the beginning, and then some it's weird, I'm gonna say quieter songs in the middle, but this is Hawkwind we're talking about. And then from Upside Down on, this thing's just heavy. 7x7, another Brock tune. I think the rest of these are Brock or Calvert. This is a shorter 7x7's a shorter tune. I love the lyrics, not the lyrics, the melody line in this one. It seems to kind of fly above the heavy guitar. It's really incredible. Sonic Attack. This is, I think, the most famous of pieces that Moorcock wrote for the band. It's performed by Calvert on the disc, I believe, and is absolutely incredible. So much so that they actually considered making it a single, and it never worked out. But if this actually worked out and was released as a single, I think it would be the strangest single ever released. Really wild early Moorcock concept of what happens if you're attacked sonically. It's really wild. Time We Left Today. Time We Left This World Today. Another Brock. Really, all these songs rock. I feel like I'm starting to get repetitive. All these songs rock. And then Master of the Universe, which is the only track that was either that wasn't new or off that third album. This was off the second album. Another heavy rockin' Hawkwind tune. And then finally Welcome to the Future ended the record, and that is a Calvert song, just kind of a transition piece that ended the record. They took off the final track. I don't know if it's the final track of the concert, but I think it is actually, which is You Shouldn't Do That, which was written by Turner and Brock. I feel like this is a better ending to the album than the original, and of course they just didn't have room for it on the original. That's why it's not there. So it ends with this trippy transition piece, but I think ending with this, the jam, and this is the second song that's from the second album on this. It wasn't included in the original, but you can get it if you get the new CD. It has bonus tracks. But the instrumental jam at the end of this is a perfect ending to this concert. It makes, in my opinion, more sense than ending it with Welcome to the Future. It's really a great ending. So if you get a copy of this, I highly recommend you get a copy that is more modern, that includes this final track. There are so many concerts I would love to go back and see, and this is one of them that are very close to the top of the list. I think that these were experiences that Robert Calvert and Barney Bubbles had achieved the goal they set out to do, to make a concept show that was just absolutely outstanding. If you saw one of these concerts, please tell us about it in the comments. It's absolutely incredible. This is probably my favorite Hawkwind album. No, it is. It's my favorite Hawkwind album. Very, very close second. The Hall of the Mountain Grill and Warrior on the Edge of Time. Just absolutely incredible. I have not explored Hawkwind thoroughly. I haven't been able to get past this first era of Hawkwind, and I know that there are more eras of Hawkwind, eras that I'm excited to explore. The late 70s, of course my brother just did Cork, Strangeness and Charm, or whatever that album is called. I love that they kept the science fiction aspects, and I'm also interested in their return in the 90s, where they did I think the Black Sword, where they did more Moorcock stuff. I'm going to keep going through this band, but as of now, this is my favorite release from them. Absolutely incredible. A sound and visual experience that only the early 70s could produce. absolutely incredible. If you've never heard this, give it a listen. I think you'd really like it. All right, if you watched this to the end, thank you very much. If you liked it, please click like. And if you like this kind of content, please click subscribe, because we'll be making a lot more of it in the future. Thank you so much for watching.